Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Fade the Field, a Seven Oracles production. I'm your Oracle Rumula, aka Coach Gene Clemons, joined as always by my guy, CJ Chris James. How are you doing today, Mr. Guy?
I'm making it happen. Button up against tax day, so I'm glad to be on here to take a little breather from that. How about yourself?
Hey, listen. As as a subcontractor, when you find that bill is due,
they're coming for it.
It doesn't matter what how you finagled it, what you've done all year. You're just like, this day it extracts a heavy toll, and so as many people out there are looking for a little relief and maybe even trying to add to their portfolio to be able to procure some of these taxes a little bit easier, you're in the right place. You're in good hands. It's a great day because we've got NBA playoff basketball starting tonight. The play-in games begin, and I think it's really interesting because there are several different storylines from teams that are in the play-in game, and I'm interested to see what you think about it. So, without further ado, let's just get started with what should be a really exciting, discussion about the play-in games. And first off is which play-in team do you like to move into the playoffs? Remember that these teams are not necessarily in the playoffs. They are in the play-in games. And with that, they are trying to fight to see who's going to go up against the second seed and the first seed. Congratulations, you made it. Now you get to get beat by the Thunder, and all that jazz. So, who do you like out of this group right now?
The team that had a guy who's playing at first team All NBA level early in the season. They get back a guy who's been a perennial All-Star, and they still have in their back pocket an unfortunately often injured, but still available former MVP. They only have to win one game at home. I like the 76ers to advance, be that 7-seed team. It just feels like they're in a situation and an opportunity playing a couple of days from, tomorrow, where they've been there. They've done it before. The rake on it, if you were to invest, is not something that's going to break the bank. It's almost 1-to-1, but I think it's like 1.48 to advance, that type of scenario. Get it right now, pick it up, and you get a team that knows what they're doing, that can get into the playoffs, and then probably have Boston smack them around a little bit.
Yeah, no, I like that, and you want to look at a market like this as you would look at like a like you investing in Samsung or something, like something that's been a proven entity. You're not going to get a heavy return on your investment, but you are going to get a return. And that's something you have to always try to make sure that you're doing. Like you want to take these swings, right? You want to take these swings where you can 4x and 5x your money, but you have to be able to piece that with the stuff that you really know is going to bring a return. Like it's almost like a set it and forget it. I think that Philadelphia falls into that category because we know that when Joel Embiid is right, when he's out there, even if he plays 20 minutes, his 20 minutes might get you 50 points and 15 rebounds. Like he's that good. Like he's that talented. And Paul George coming back, seemingly finding his stride, everybody getting healthy at the same time, and VJ Edgecombe now having a full 82 game season under his belt.
Correct.
To now not be a rookie anymore, right? Like, hey, you're not a rookie anymore. Now this is your second season. What do you do there? I'll tell you one that I like that I think is one that people have kind of talked about, but I don't think have really given or put the amount of like love on. Charlotte Hornets, man, they've been balling, and they're so crazy, right? This is why I like them. They're literally like 8 deep with double-digit scorers a game. You're going up against a Miami Heat team that struggles to score the ball. And more importantly, they struggle to score the ball because some of their nuclear pieces, like a guy like Tyler Hero, still coming back from injury. We don't know what he's going to be like. And so now you get this home team who's fully loaded. They've got to win 2 to get in, but that's why the market is a little bit better. You can get a better return on your investment for the Hornets.
And that's why I like the shrink here. I like the Hornets call from a straight up perspective against the Heat. In fact, that line has already moved. But I like that little side. Let's say the 76ers lose that game at home. Guess what? They got to go play that Charlotte Hornets team. And now that lemon gets in there when it comes to a young team versus a team that's been there before, late in the fourth quarter. So let's see how that plays out if those two teams match up.
Yeah, I love the over anything that the Hornets are attached to.
Yeah.
Because they shoot the 3 ball like it's going out of style. They don't play the greatest defense. And you're right. If they do take out the Heat and they have to play Philly, they've got no answer for Joel Embiid inside. They've got no answer for Bam inside. So if you got no answer for Bam, you got no answer for Joel Embiid
at all.
Yeah. So again, Philadelphia, a great look at. You've got the Hornets and where they sit versus the Heat tonight. That's something I'm looking at. Definitely the Hornets and the over on that. I would look to double up that investment. Let's check out the next one. And right here, like Denver, Minnesota, this is a great matchup. We're talking about first round matchups here. First round matchups, Denver and Minnesota face off again. Denver always feels like a team who, with a guy like with Jokic, who can't be stopped. But Minnesota has been able to solve the problem in the playoffs. What do you think about this, especially this as a first round matchup this year?
This feels like a matchup Denver didn't want to get, not because they can't win the series, but because this could be an extended series. I feel like Denver does pull it out. They made some trades that made sense before the season, bringing in Cam Johnson instead of Michael Porter Jr. You get healthier at a position. And even though you may lose a little bit of the offense, you gain just in the overall perspective of the player. And Gordon's health has been fairly reasonable this particular season. They're going in strong. They've won all the games in a row. I think, 11 or 12 in a row. They're a fully formed unit. And I feel like Minnesota can sneak 1, maybe 2 from them. But give me Denver winning, and I'll make it safe in a 6-game series.
So you like Denver winning 4-2. That's trading at 26%. That's 4.98 extra money. And if you want, make sure you go over to the 7oracles.com, check out our tools. And over there on the tools, if you're ever wondering, especially if you play on Kalshi, right? You can go over there to our probability converter. And when you look at it, we call it the Kalshi converter, right? And you go in, you put the cents in, and it gives you out the American odds. So like for instance, if we're talking about Denver winning 4-2 and it's 26%, right? That's going to be a plus 285 in your American odds. If that makes it easier for you to understand, you want to go over and do that. Check that out over at the 7oracles.com and all of our tools that we have developed over there to help you better understand this prediction market and how it transitioned from traditional sports betting into what we're doing here with these markets. I like that call. I will say this to me is a great opportunity to sprinkle a little something on a Minnesota 4-3, like 7-game series win, right? Because you're going to get 9 plus extra money. This is a team that knows how to get it done. They've been there before. And I think that there's something to be said about that superstar aura that Anthony Edwards seems to have that says, hey, it's going to just take a lot to beat me. It's going to take a lot for you to beat me. And I think if they can get off to a hot start, maybe steal one early, you could see this one go deep into the rounds. And if they do, I could see Minnesota stealing it with a 4-3, with a 4-3 overall series victory.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a good call, especially from the perspective that they've done it before, right? They did it 2 seasons ago and won that, in 7? So they've done it before. The only counter I'll put to that is I think they're going to make Ant do everything, wear himself out, while they kind of conserve energy. And by the 7th game, what Ant legs do we have left? Because he's doing all the work compared to Denver spreading the wealth.
You're right. If Ant has to guard Jamal Murray and he has to be the offensive force, it's just going to be too much.
Too much.
There's only so much that your body can do, right?
Bingo.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. That makes it more difficult. That's why I'm with you. I'm more leaning towards the Denver side, but I will be sprinkling a little something and making a small little investment over there on that Minnesota 4-3 exact series win. Let's take a look at the next one. Who wins? Houston versus LA. We're talking about the Houston Rockets, the LA Lakers. LA, the last 2 times, I believe, they played the regular season, LA was able to win both of those games. They did it using a philosophy that I'm not sure they're going to be able to do in the playoffs, but I'm sure they'll try it. They every time Kevin Durant got the ball, they just double teamed Kevin Durant and made Kevin Durant try to find someone else to throw the ball to him, because Houston doesn't shoot the ball as well from the perimeter. They had a lot of success there. Now, how does that change with Sengun back? And will he be able to be the other ball handler for them? More, that remains to be seen. What do you think about this matchup?
I feel terrible about this because we're asking a 41-year-old man who is still excellent at what he does to do a lot. And I feel like Houston's going to deploy this approach because we know how Ime Udoka feels about when you have one player playing him. They're going to pick LeBron up the entire time he's in the game, 94 feet. They're going to try to wear him out, beat him up, make him do a lot of things. And they have a lot of young bodies to throw at him. On the opposite side, I think they actually take Kevin Durant off the court more often, giving him minutes that are crucial, end of quarters, things like that, because he can knock down those shots. And in between, they'll run more to try to wear LA out. That's the unfortunate thing. LeBron keeps him in it, but I don't know how many games he gets him. It might be 0.
I think the interesting part is that Houston would look completely different if Fred VanVleet was not injured. I think they would be making the run that the San Antonio Spurs are on, if they had an actual real legitimate point guard to go with this ungodly length that they have out there. I agree with you. Make life miserable for LeBron. Throw all of the 6'9" and 6'10" and 6'8" like defenders that we have. Just keep throwing them at body after body after body. The interesting part is, can LeBron turn back the clock for 2 games? If he can turn back the clock for 2 games and you get AR-15 back and you get I won't say 100% healthy, right? But if you get a Luka Doncic back, and now they can go back to what they were doing when they kind of had the mojo working, and LeBron had stepped back to be kind of the third, the ultimate third option, they're going to give Houston problems. But it's only if LeBron can steal them too, and he can turn the clock back. If there's ever been a guy that I could believe has the opportunity to do it, I would say LeBron. I think this is going to be a tough hill to climb for them. I like Houston. I think Houston 4-2. If I'm being conservative with it, 4-1 if I think they just get them out of there, like a good gentleman's sweep.
Yeah, to your point, it depends on the health that's related to Austin Reeves, Because if they're able to get him back after the first 2 games, let's say as an example, because I don't think they're getting Luka back. That's just me.
Okay.
If they can get Reeves back, I think they can go 4-1. The unfortunate portion is game one dictates. If you have them in a sweep, I do a little sprinkle both ways because I think it's either a gentleman's sweep or a true sweep, and it'll be dictated on how they come out in that first game and the approach they use against LeBron James.
Yeah, I just think somewhere along the line, LeBron's going to find one. I just don't know if he can find two. If he can find two and get, like, buy them some time, right? Buy them an extra few games to get themselves right, and you can get at least AR-15 back, maybe even Luka back. I think that they have a chance to make this interesting, but it's going to be tough. Like, this is unfortunate because LA was trending towards the number 2 seed, and then those guys got hurt, and like they just started dropping games because it's LeBron out there by himself. You know, what do you do? Let's take a look at the next one. Who wins, New York versus Atlanta? This one I think is interesting because, like, this is going to get the New York Knicks blown up. If they don't take care of business versus Atlanta, this is going to get New York blown up because Atlanta is full of a bunch of dudes, right, that nobody would say is a star, but whom everybody would want on their team. If that makes sense. Like, a bunch of guys, like everybody outside of Golden State, for whatever reason, would love to have Jonathan Kuminga on their team. Everybody wants a Kuminga. And you know, there's a bunch of those dudes in Atlanta. Where do you see this one falling? What do you like in the matchup? Who do you think comes out of this?
So let me go ahead and say this. If you're going to put money anywhere, it's going on Atlanta, period. I'm putting Atlanta there for 4-2 or 4-3 and winning this series. I think they're going to force New York into a stress situation. They're going to beat up Jalen Brunson a little bit, which everyone tries to do. But, hey, I think that they're going to do a good job with it. This is a long team that gets out and runs. They can play defense when they want to. And I think they just give them problems. And they're going to let Karl-Anthony Towns do Karl-Anthony Towns things. And what do I mean by that? He's going to score. He might get a rebound or two, but he's probably going to have too many turnovers because they're going to force him to be the dictator of the game and try to keep the ball away from Jalen Brunson as much as feasibly possible.
I think what they do is what I would do is turn Karl-Anthony Towns into a jump shooter. Make him fall in love with the three, make him fall in love with shooting the deep ball. And if they do that, which I believe they can, he'll shoot his team out of the game. Like, he doesn't know how to help himself. He can't read that, oh, I have so many of these wide open threes because they want me to have these wide open threes. And go, well, if I just go down and abuse them inside, then I actually help our team. He won't do that. The post player for the Knicks is Jalen Brunson. And that's the problem. Like, that's the problem because they have length enough to bother shots. Brunson's still going to get his, but it's going to be an inefficient his. And then Karl-Anthony Towns out there shooting 8 to 12 3-pointers a game. That's just not going to help anybody. If they don't get it done, they're going to tear up this whole brotherhood thing, and you'll see guys on the move, because it'll be proof of concept. If we can't beat Atlanta, we can't beat Boston. If we can't beat Atlanta, we can't beat anybody that we're going to face on the Western Conference side.
Yeah, no, the construction of the team, especially with what they gave away for Mikal Bridges, just didn't make a lot of sense, especially from a physicality standpoint. Plays really good D on the wing. Problem is, doesn't take contact on offense. Karl-Anthony Towns takes contact, but then over-exaggerates it. Jalen Brunson takes contact, but he is small, more diminutive than some of the other guys. So it's just the roster construction is weird. They can't blow it up yet, but they're going to have to if they can't get it past in Atlanta, because Atlanta is ascending while New York is stagnant or reverted.
Yeah, and you've got to think Atlanta's ascending. Washington has positioned themselves with a bunch of really, like, nice young talent and some veterans that are good that they just said, hey, you know what? Chill. We'll get back to you in 2026. I think if they have the right mixture, they could be a problem in 2027. Orlando is ascending. Boston's not going anywhere. Where does you know where does Giannis end up? Is he still in Milwaukee? Is he in New York? Right? Like
Right.
those are some of the questions. But I'm with you. I like Atlanta. I would say Atlanta 4-2. Real nice. 6.73x. Atlanta 4-3 at 8.85x. Really great value on your money if you think that the Hawks are going to pull the upset. Let's check out the last one of our first round matchups. And this one, who wins, Cleveland Cavaliers or the Toronto Raptors? This is interesting, CJ, because like Cleveland looks different with James Harden. Toronto just seems to keep finding these various amalgamations of we're going to put a lineup out there with a whole bunch of 6'8", 6'9" guys and just see if we can, just positionless ball you to death. What do you like in this one?
So this is one of the few times I'm going to say this. Steer clear. This is not a series that you're going to make a lot of money on, in my opinion. Reason being, I don't think Toronto can score with Cleveland. So it's one of those, if Cleveland has an off shooting night, which is possible because they have shorter jump shooters, then yes, they can lose a game. But this is a 4-0, 4-1 series. Pick your poison, but the rake isn't there. You tell me if I'm wrong. I think it's like 1.46 or something like that, and 1.8. You're not getting, which basically means if you put up, 100, you're getting 180 back. You're not getting a lot of catch for either of those things. So this is one of the few steer clears where you can't really make money, in my opinion, unless you think Toronto, and having all of that length that they have, just a bunch of wing players out there, can really give fits to Cleveland and not allow them to score.
Yeah, I think this is one that I favor Cleveland in from the standpoint that James Harden doesn't have to be the closer. Like you're not relying on James Harden to bring it home for you. We don't have to worry about him getting fatigued. We don't have to worry about him having like run into issues with James Harden. The biggest issue he's had is that when they've needed him most in the clutch, he's come up small because he's the dude. Well, guess what? Donovan Mitchell don't need you to be the dude, my guy. Donovan Mitchell has been telling people his entire life, hey, I'm him. And he's proven it time after time again when he's been given the opportunity. The problem is he just hasn't had the opportunity as much. So now you have a guy like James Harden who can set the table, and then you've got a guy like Donovan Mitchell who can clear it. And I just think in between that, with the bigs that they have to be able to, to make things a little more difficult inside the paint, it's going to be too much for Toronto to handle. Do I think that they sweep them? I'm not sure. I would probably lean towards a 4-1 gentleman sweep here because I just always feel like, these types of teams like Toronto just find a way to get one. But it just for what you're talking about, if you're talking about an exact score, right now I'm looking at it on Kalshi, an exact score of 4-1 is trading at 3.18x. So not bad. That's 2-1 on your money. And your dollar or your unit brings back 3 units. So like not bad at all as far as your investment. So I would probably go there. Maybe even the gentleman sweep. Watch the lines. You got a couple days, right? Game 1 isn't until Saturday. Watch the lines, see how the lines move, see how the markets move, see where the best investment is. And if it's just, hey, take this easy money of Cleveland to win, period. Take that easy money and then look for the market to flip that on and invest in round 2.
Yeah, and there's always the option. You've made the point. This is like the stock market. So if there's an early eject where you feel Let's say the series is 3-0 and all of a sudden it's 3-1. And you say, I could hold on or I could early eject if it makes a lot of sense where you make a little money. Look at to those options as well. You always have the opportunity up until the last game.
Absolutely. That's great advice. Remember, unlike, well, I mean, in some instances in sports betting now they're giving you early, like an early payout, but a lot of times they're just trying to keep you from getting in their pocket.
Correct.
So they're like, hey, take this little bit of money instead of that big money you can win on the end. But in these, remember, you're not playing against the house. You are investing with other people. So it's what they want to buy for. It's what they want to buy it for. You set that market price. You get an opportunity to be able to cash out. So, great things. Who do you think is the first round star of the NBA finals? I mean, NBA playoffs. Who do you think in the first round everyone's going to be talking about? Wow, look at that performance.
So we have the normal names that we know about, but I'm actually going to go with a series that we both predicted as an upset, Jalen Johnson from Atlanta, where you see him put buckets in, play good defense, have a filled up stat sheet, and then people will understand why he was in conversation to be second team all NBA, that type of thing, where she's probably going to land somewhere in there. And now we have a new household name for people to know about compared to, the Ant Edwards and the Nikola Jokic's, who are probably going to ball out anyway.
Yeah, and just a quick aside, because I'm not the biggest LaMelo Ball fan. I think he cares a lot more about other things than winning sometimes. But if they're able to pull off the win, beat the Heat, right? Then beat the Sixers and get into the tournament, they're going to be talking about LaMelo Ball. Like, because the only way it happens is if he has a LaMelo Ball type of performance where he's getting to his 20-point average, but he's also got 8 or 9 assists, 10 assists. He's getting on the boards. He's dictating the pace. I think he can be a guy who could be a breakout star.
Especially in a series where, yes, the other team plays really good defense. They're going to try to beat you up. But what Cade Cunningham is going to actually be there in that series, if they don't have that type of player, I think Charlotte can make it a series and shoot the heck out of the ball and give Detroit problems because of how many scores they do have.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, like we're excited about the playoffs. It's a great time of year. It's a great time to make some good investments. Make sure you go over to the 7oracles.com. Check out everything we're doing over there. Make sure you go and follow the newsletter, right, at Substack. Go hit that Substack. Follow the newsletter over there. Get all of our musings as we discuss. I just dropped the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals piece. Go check that out. People are talking about the war in Iran over there right now. We're talking about gas prices. We're talking about the weather. You can find it all over there, and definitely you want to check out that tool, that Cauchy probability converter over at the 7oracles.com. We've got free tools, and then you can always subscribe and get that pro version. And you know how it goes when you get the pro version. You get that uptick in performance. So definitely go check that out. Make sure you're subbing over here on YouTube and checking out everything we're doing over here on YouTube. CJ, tell everybody where they can listen more to you, where they can find you and follow you at.
So we had a discussion about basketball today, but I'm still in the football mode. You can find my football podcast, and it's usually 4 days a week. It's called Chopping It Up with CJ. Right now, I'm going through my positional rankings for the 2026 NFL draft. I'll also be doing things on each of your favorite NFL teams once the draft is done, construction, how they look, where they get into. And you can find me on other entities and places like that as we go through the entire draft season, etc. But you can find it on Spotify, Apple Pod, or any place you get your favorite podcast for free.
Yeah, and as always, you can find me at Gene Clemons everywhere on social media. The Coach Gene Clemons YouTube channel, Fantasy Life, where I do all my fantasy stuff at. New York Giants on SI, where you can see me write about the New York Giants and catch the Giants. A Giant Issue podcast on YouTube on the New York Giants on SI YouTube channel. And make sure you're back here next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel. Until next time, for CJ, Chris James, I am Coach Gene Clemons. You all be best.